The only way I get good thoughts when the voice inside my head gets muted, because that's the voice telling me, you can't do it, तुझसे नहीं होगा, ये तेरे लिए नहीं है. The only way to mute it is do something really physical, really tough.
What could be the reasons? Is it the hormonal imbalances?
What I found that the more I try to change my chemistry, the more my body backfires.
As a bodybuilding competitor and winner of titles, every person that's looking for the bodybuilding muscle, they need to proceed with caution, both in supplements and steroids.
Unless you are genetically exceptional, you would never have big muscles, even if you work out for 5 years straight. Big muscles come in 15 years of regular, consistent work, regular diet.
What should women be doing for both muscle and joint health?
Zumba, yoga, all this is great, but it's not the best. As you get older, you need muscle strength.
Dr. Mandeep, if somebody is allergic to whey protein, then what would you do?
I have a rule. आप एक काम कीजिए, आप
Imagine you want to build a body like a bodybuilder, but despite your best efforts, something doesn't feel quite right. No matter how hard you work, no matter how much you push yourself, your body isn't responding the way you expected. Now imagine having to face not just physical obstacles, but personal challenges that test both your mind and body. This is the journey of today's guest, Dr. Mandeep Sodhi. I've known Dr. Mandeep for over 2 decades. I fondly call him Mandy. And in that much time, he's become so much more than just a friend. He's been a mentor, a coach, and someone who leads by example. Dr. Mandeep is a physiotherapist, a bodybuilder, and a filmmaker with a deep passion for understanding the powerful connection between the body and the mind. And his journey hasn't been easy. He's faced multiple surgeries, battling through conditions like Gynecomastia, something that impacted him despite never being obese. But what sets him apart isn't just his strength in the gym. It's the mental grit and resilience he's built through every challenge he's faced. Today, he's here to share his story, not just the successes, but the real battles behind them. We'll talk about bodybuilding, the importance of lifting weights, and why this journey is about so much more than physical transformation. Dr. Mandeep, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here today, and I'm excited for our listeners to hear your story and the lessons you have learned along the way.
Many thanks to the universe and everyone up there who gives us the chance to practice our craft. And all of us here today are gathered in our own right, in our own talent, in our own capacity. Thank you everyone for being here today. Let's rock and roll. Dr. Mandeep, it's a pleasure to have you here finally.
It's a pleasure to be here, Ryan. So good to see you again in person.
So you started very small and you showed me a photograph of Bon Santé, your membership card from many, many years ago, your first gym membership. How did you join the gym?
It's 1st April 1996, I joined the gym, so almost 29 years and a bit ago. I was a skinny kid who was bullied in school, and I thought getting stronger was one way to kind of curtail that. So then I went to a gym. I said the easiest way to get strong is to go to a gym. So I joined the gym, I started working out, started to build a physique little by little, and I started gaining a little bit of weight. But then I started feeling more confident just being who I was, not just fighting the bullies, but being who I was. And I loved that feeling, so I just stayed stuck with the gym. I've tried many sports before. I've tried cricket, I've tried basketball, volleyball, and I've played at the school level in all those, but I didn't like any of those. I just felt like this was my sport.
And when you started bodybuilding, you also went on to do your physiotherapy. Talk to us about physiotherapy. What was the link over there?
Okay, physiotherapy was a backwash. I wanted to be a doctor. My dad was a nurse. My mom was a nurse. She'd retired a nurse. They both said, become a doctor. Like, Indian households, doctor, engineer. So I gave the PMTs at that time, and I didn't go through the PMTs to become a doctor. And there was a hospital in Chandigarh where I was 3 seats down, like 3rd on the waiting list, but I never got in. So then a physiotherapy test came along in PGI, one of the biggest hospitals in North India. I gave the test, I passed the test. And then I was like, okay, physiotherapy it is. But then when I started doing physiotherapy, I kind of realized it's kind of in line with bodybuilding. So somehow the universe...
How's that? For our viewers to understand. Give me an example.
Okay. You go to the gym, you strain your shoulder while you're doing military press. Who do you see? A physiotherapist. So let's say you do squats and you hurt your back. Who do you see? A physiotherapist. So I got to be in a position to understand my body even better for my own sake and for everybody else around me who's working out.
Were you the kind of bodybuilder who was like, okay, this is the bicep, it's 2 heads of muscle. So you would memorize all the anatomy that way?
Correct. I would definitely, I was saying, oh, I'm learning about my body. Oh, I have a coracobrachialis inside. It's this action. Then I was trying to invent exercises to build every single muscle in the body.
So the question for all our viewers out there is, a lot of people sometimes are very distracted in their muscle training workouts.
Right.
Is there a truth that you should visualize the link between your brain and that muscle when you're contracting and relaxing that muscle? Talk to us a little bit about that.
There's definitely a muscle-mind link or a mind-muscle link when you're working out. अगर आप कल आपको क्या करना है उसके बारे में नहीं सोच रहे हैं, अगर आप ये नहीं सोच रहे हैं कि घर पे जाके खाना क्या बनाना है, then you're doing fine. But you will be doing great if you see your muscle stretching and contracting. That mind-muscle link will wake up or recruit more number of fibers than you would otherwise do. If you're talking to someone, being on your phone and you're curling or thinking about something else, you know, what you have to say to your boss or your girlfriend, right? So when you are in the gym, I always tell people, even the biggest businessmen, I say, can you ask your manager to take 1 hour off of your life where there's no phone, put your phone on offline and see how that feels. And when they're inside the gym, you are only thinking about how your muscles are feeling, how your mind is feeling, and that's all. And you focus on your breathing. So when you do that, you actually recruit more number of muscle fibers. And there's a study that suggests on the mind-muscle link.
That's amazing. So you've been in bodybuilding now for close to what, 30 years?
Close to 30 years, yes.
Yeah, and there are a lot of myths and a lot of facts. Are there any few ones that you want to talk to us about that you just laugh when you see people in the gym in Canada or here in India?
You see, I'm already laughing, you know. When the girls say, I don't want to lift heavy weights because I don't want big muscles. Even the guy says, I'm here to be fit. I don't want big muscles. Trust me, you won't get big muscles. Big muscles come in 15 years of regular, consistent work, regular diet, maybe some performance-enhancing drugs. For you, with your natural hormones, you can maximize what you are, and whatever you have on the inside will come to the outside. You might lose a little bit of fat, you might gain a little bit of muscle. Unless you're genetically exceptional, you would never have big muscles, even if you work out for 5 years straight. So मुझे इस पे बहुत हंसी आती है कि सर मैं सिर्फ 5 पाउंड उठाऊंगी, मुझे बड़ा मसल नहीं चाहिए. Every single time you're at the gym, I say empty your bucket. And I ask my clients, have you emptied your bucket at the end of the workout?
What does that mean?
जितना भी आप effort लेकर आए हो, आपने उसको बाल्टी को खाली करने का है. If you brought 10% effort, give me 10%. If you brought 100%, give me 100%. Do not leave without all the effort that you brought to the gym. Ideally, you should give me all of it. Don't hold back.
That's very interesting because I watched Joe Rogan in a recent podcast where he says the reason I go to a gym is because it's the only time that I can tell my body, behave yourself.
That's so funny.
because the rest of the time I'm behaving like a diva. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I want AC. I want hot water. I want cold water.
Right.
I want a soft bed. But when you go to the gym, you can't ask for a soft weight.
Right.
And you have muscle growth only when you push your body. So balti empty karne ka hai.
Karne ka, har baar.
So that's a very, very valid point.
Can I add something here?
Yeah.
I'm writing a book. The only way I get good thoughts, when the voice inside my head gets muted, the only way to mute it is do something really physical, really tough, like legs, and I pound myself into the ground every single time. That's when the voice becomes really mute, because that's the voice telling me, you can't do it. You're a failure. You don't have, everybody has imposter syndrome. I have bigger imposter syndrome, I believe. You can't do it. तुझसे नहीं होगा. ये तेरे लिए नहीं है. That voice becomes really small when I'm doing something really physically taxing on my body.
Speaking of pounding your body with legs and stuff like that, you've had 4 surgeries.
Correct.
Right? But specifically, I want to talk to you about gynecomastia. And this is something that everyone walks into my clinic with who are on the heavier side, men who are obese. But you have never been obese. So talk to us about this condition in terms of what it is, how does it happen, who gets affected, and what are the solutions to it?
Right. Okay, gynecomastia. I'm going to take a little prelude before this. Women have testosterone, men have estrogen. Men have breast tissue like women, but it's small and rudimentary. In teenage sometimes, or because of the foods that we eat, that breast tissue gets activated. For me, the first activation I remember was at 13 years old when I went to the gym for the first time when I was doing judo, and my coach said, "You have to get stronger." So there was a gym like a small ghetto gym inside the judo place. When I was working out with that over there, my buddy said, "Your chest looks a little funny. Your muscles are developing weirdly." So it looked like this. And I didn't pay much attention. It went away when I became 16, 17. Like for normally people, it goes away by itself. Then I started working out. It wasn't there. Then I started working out harder. It wasn't there. Then I got introduced to this gym which had steroids.
Okay.
And when everybody is doing it, it's normal. So you kind of jump in. अगर आपके ग्रुप में सब सिगरेट पी रहे हैं और आप नहीं पी रहे हो, then you feel kind of like, oh, these are my childhood friends. They're smoking a cigarette. I should be smoking a cigarette. So when everybody was doing steroids, my coach said at that time, I had a different coach. He said, do steroids. It will lead you to the next level. And which is the truth. If you want to go to the next level, you'll have to do steroids. Starting in 2006 and 2007 and 2008, I did 3 cycles, maybe 4 cycles, but I never completed any cycle. Because every time I took steroids, I was getting depressed. I was getting sad. So basically,
as in, it was just affecting your
mental
health.
Yes.
But you were growing muscles.
But this was going down. Every time I was on a balcony, I wanted to jump off the balcony.
What, you're a medical expert. What could be the reasons? Is it the hormonal imbalances?
Definitely. I'll tell you this. अगर एक आदमी को गुस्सा आता है, आप उसको स्टेरॉइड देंगे, उसको और एग्रेशन आएगा. अगर एक आदमी sad है, like I was, because I didn't get much attention from the girls, because I think being dark skinned in the 80s is not cool, especially in North India. So then I was always thinking, maybe there's something wrong with me, like nobody likes me. That being the childhood thing that I grew up with, then now when you take steroids, that magnifies even more. Now my sadness became depression while taking steroids, so I had to leave steroids. My good friend, he said, this might be a thing that's happening to you, so you shouldn't be doing this. What I found, even with supplements, the same thing, that if I take less, I do better. The more I try to change my chemistry, the harder I try, the more my body backfires.
So are you saying, as a bodybuilding competitor and winner of titles, that every person that's looking for the show muscle, which is the bodybuilding muscle, they need to proceed with caution, both in supplements and steroids?
Correct.
Steroids under the guided advice of a doctor, probably.
Correct.
And supplements, more is not better.
Never. आप अपनी homeostasis, आपका body temperature 39 degrees हो गया, the body will try to bring it back to 37.5, 38. आपका 36 हो गया, the body will try to bring it up to 37.5, 38. Similarly, you change anything in your body chemistry, the body is going to try to fight back unless that's helping the body in some ways, like vitamin D3 is helping the body, vitamin C is helping the body. Some supplements don't help the body, they just augment what you have, and the body says, I don't like this. Less is okay, more is not. But anyways, going back to gynecomastia, जब मेरे को steroid लिया मैंने, उसके बाद I didn't have anything. Then I moved to Mumbai to learn filmmaking. During that time, my food was like I would eat oatmeal and milk for days because I didn't have enough money. That's when I contacted you, said, would you want to buy me a computer? And you bought me a computer. So thank you. You changed my life.
I've completely forgotten about that.
No, and that's the time when I didn't have enough money to buy food. I was fired from a job. It was during the recession in 2009 or 8.
2008, yeah.
I was fired and I was by myself for 2-3 months. And all I was eating was that. तो मुझे ये लगता है during that time, जो गाय भैंस का दूध भी है, उसमें भी कुछ तरह का वो डालते हैं because they inject the prolactin or whatever they inject into the...
And that affects the male?
It does affect the male. So every single time I got my test done, my prolactin was high. My doctor said it could be because of the food that you're eating. It could be because of the stress. I did not have a stress at that time.
But you weren't taking steroids at that time?
No. So I left steroids in 2008. I moved to Mumbai. In 2010, I started seeing some growth on my right side. I was like, wow, this is weird. And every time I touched, imagine a bunch of pins being pushed into your skin. So I was like, oh, this hurts. So I went to a doctor, Dr. Kapoor, amazing guy. He said, you know what we'll do? We'll put you under local anesthesia. He's pulled my skin. He said, look, everything is numb. We'll cut you open, a little eye hole. He pulled the whole thing out. He said there was like a cup inside this.
Huh.
He said, you have a bigger body, it doesn't show. It was flatter, it doesn't show, but it was like the size of an A cup. That went. I got married in 2012. And then somehow my left side started going. When my left side started growing, it was weird. And I was, again, same thing. I press on it, it would feel pain. And Dr. Kapoor did tell me, we take one out, the other one might start growing if the hormones are still wrong. In 2013, I went to the doctor. I said, can you take it out? I couldn't find Dr. Kapoor because he was traveling. I went to this idiot, and he was, because he did not take it out. He thought it was only for cosmetic purposes. He reshaped the whole thing, and he said, we'll keep it inside, it'll look okay. And I woke up from the surgery, I'm like, why do I still feel it? And he came in for the checkup, and he came in for the rounds, and he said, oh, we just reshaped it. I'm like, why did you reshape it? I said, take it out. Like, that was my request. And anyways, that went. In 2016, I met this another doctor.
So you had to do another surgery because
surgery because it was still hurting. So I had my kid in 2014. Whenever she would play with me, she would go on my chest. I would go, ah. And she would start crying. Or my wife would be like, what's happening? I'm like, oh, this is hurting. She said, definitely get it checked. We got it checked. I go to this doctor, Canadian doctor. He tries to sell me Vaser. That was a new technique back then. He wants to charge me $7,000 to take it out. I said, but the Dr. Kapoor took it out like with a little scalpel and a little eye hole. He said, oh, we'll try. He opens it, and I refuse Vaser because I don't have $7,000. He takes out a piece of it and say, oh, this is the only thing I could do. I was like, okay, that's fine. Move on. Still hurting. Another kid on the way. 2020, COVID hits. Before COVID hits, I meet this doctor and I tell him, my kid is on the way. I can't afford to have this. Can you please help me? He said, I'll definitely help you. This is the thing I deal with. This guy, Dr. Ken, one of the best persons I've met, like Dr. Kapoor, Dr. Ken, I think the K letter is lucky in my life. He put an eye hole on this side. He put a camera on the other side. He pulled out a tissue as big as my hand and thick like this, sitting right here across the chest.
He was just able to pull it out.
He was able to pull the whole thing out. And imagine the precision the guy had in his hand from this big a hole.
Okay.
And then on this side, he said, you regrew. So he took out a size of a tissue this big. So now I don't have anything, but it took me 4 surgeries to get through this.
And this is a common condition for a lot of men?
This is, especially when you're obese, when you're exposed to estrogenic products or plastics. If you swim...
How can a man find out that he's got gynecomastia?
If there's a tissue hanging, it usually goes away by itself. When you pinch something, when you pinch yourself, the fat doesn't feel like anything. But this is a gland.
Okay.
It'll feel like a gland. It'll feel like you're pinching something inside the skin, which exists in its own bubble.
Okay.
And if it's painful, definitely get it out. If it's cosmetic, maybe.
Are there any blood tests that somebody could check? Like, would the estradiol be high? Prolactin would be high. These are 2, right? So
estradiol would definitely be high, and that leads to sensitivity in the tissue. So if the estradiol is consistently high and the person is complaining of sensitivity in the tissue, definitely worth your while to get it looked at. Go to a good surgeon. You'll get to know in the first 15 minutes if they're trying to oversell you or if they actually are going to help you. Every single time I had surgery, I was not allowed to work out for 3 to 4 months. I could easily stop working out and not work out again. But then I asked myself, what would I rather do? The answer was nothing else. The only thing I can do is go back to working out. So imagine getting a surgery done, losing half of the muscle you gained for 3 months, and you are in a straight jacket because the skin has to get adhered to the muscle again. So this even don't allow you to move your hand above your shoulder for the first 15, 20 days. So then they say, crawl your fingers up for the first month. And then you can start moving your arms a little bit.
And you know that as a physiotherapist.
And you imagine me going through my own medicine. And then I told myself, you know what? I'm going to go back to working out. And every single time I fell, I said, I got to get up and start moving. Just dust it off and go, you know.
Besides being a bodybuilder, an accomplished physiotherapist and trainer, you've also dabbled in nutrigenomics and how diet is very powerful. I remember in my previous stint before I started the Collagen clinics, we knew each other at Body Fuels,
Correct.
Where we talked about nutritional supplements. You did many doctor training programs on amino acids and all. What's your take on nutrition for normal people and nutrition for people who are trying to build muscle, not only from a bodybuilding point of view, but in today's day and world, every Instagram, every Facebook post is talking about build muscle. It's a secret to longevity. So nutrition, how important?
I think nutrition is the most important keys. If I had to divide the whole fitness journey into 100%, your exercise is only 20%. Your nutrition is 40%. Your rest is 30%. And then 10% is your hydration.
Okay. You talk about nutrigenomics in some of your videos and all. What's your belief on genetic testing and nutrition point of view? And do you have any personal examples on how nutrigenomics has changed your life as a muscle maniac?
It definitely has. I think this is the genetic testing your hormones, is giving you more information how to understand your body from within. And it gives you the power to do the right thing for yourself. For example, I did my DNA testing. I found out I'm one of those people who can benefit from medium protein intake.
Medium protein intake?
Yes.
But you're a bodybuilder.
And that's exactly the point. I was like, how? There's a gene.
But before this test, you would have been like,
more protein.
more protein.
Yes. But genetically, I'm from the farmer's family.
Right?
And before that, my family, we have a lineage of warriors. We have a temple in our village dedicated to my forefathers who are warriors. They ate, people would call us peasants and warriors. They ate carb-rich diets. Genetically, I'm performing better if I have medium protein and a portion of starchy carb, a higher carb.
Higher carb. So when you got the genetic test done and you changed it, did you notice changes in your workout and your muscle?
Definitely. From the time I've got it done till now, I've gained 3 kilograms and not a lot of fat.
So just knowing your DNA code helps you eat more scientific.
Correct.
That's very interesting. Now, I've invited you here today to Bangalore, and we're doing a lot of work in the Institute of Nutrition. And I wanted you to teach people about the bodybuilding nutrition course. Tell me a little bit about that.
Thanks to you for coming up with the idea of how we can give all this information to the general public. We are designing a course in which we will teach you about how to take all the factors in your training, nutrition, diet, exercise, sleep, and hydration, and how to maximize your natural hormones to get the anabolic effect without actually using any anabolic hormones. We also will give you the information to get better understanding of meal timing, portion size, how to control cravings, just to give you a general idea. As all of us human beings are learning more about ourselves, we are teaching you more about how to learn who you are and how to handle yourself and conduct yourself so you can maintain good health. The reason for maintaining good health, मेरा एक तरीका है, the way I define it, can you outrun a rabid dog on a street when you're being chased? If the answer is no, you better start training, So if you cannot outrun a dog, or at least not save yourself, and you'll fall if a dog ran at you, then you're definitely unfit.
So this course on bodybuilding nutrition, I'm very excited because the world needs something to guide teenagers, fitness trainers, physiotherapists on how you don't need to copiously take overload of proteins.
Correct.
And there's this whole thing about nutritional supplements. We have a lot of ladies, 40 plus, coming towards menopause. I genuinely believe that they need to weight train, but they also need nutritional supplementation. top 3 to 5 nutritional supplements for women in that age category?
Creatine, whey protein, and vitamin D3. The reason for that is creatine is needed for the function of the brain, it's needed for the function of the muscles. You need 5 grams, not more. Make sure your hydration is on point throughout the day. Whey protein, because protein is in everything in the body. Anything you can touch and feel has protein in it. Be it your bones, be it your muscle, be it your skin. Vitamin D3, because you need it for the bones, for the muscles, for the brain function, and it even triggers a gene that actually leads to protein synthesis and better and bigger muscles.
Dr. Mandeep, if somebody's allergic to whey protein, then what would you do?
I would give them any protein that's complete. Soy protein would be a good option, especially for women, because it has phytoestrogens, which help women going towards menopause.
Awesome. So we talked about bodybuilding. We talked about requirements for women. For teenagers, you and I both have been teenagers, right? We've joined the gym. And in our time, there was a lot of knowledge, but we didn't have the internet to guide us.
Correct.
Today, we have a podcast to guide the teenagers. For every teenager out there who wants to get a better body, what is your advice in supplements and in food?
Yeah, I was going to say for children, or I call them children, but teenagers, they're building their foundation. Solid food is a great idea. The digestive systems are working way better than ours. So having eggs is a great idea. If you can't have eggs, milk products are great. If you cannot have milk products, soy is the third option, because all these 3 are full and complete proteins. Timing them and having them throughout the day, having variety of foods with this would be a great idea. If you're a vegetarian, combining beans and rice will make the complete profile for the 9 amino acids that we need for protein synthesis. Iske alawa, creatine is essential. I have a sister-in-law. She's a vegetarian. I tell her, you definitely have to take a creatine. To my wife, I tell, definitely need creatine. My mother, who's 73, definitely need creatine. 5 grams a day, definitely need it for everybody. It's cheap, and it's the best supplement you can take.
I think I'm going to go home and get my mom on creatine now.
It's a good idea. Do you know what they're doing? There's a research paper. They've been using creatine to help with Alzheimer's disease and dementia.
So Dr. Mandeep, are there any cautions on creatine?
If you're a healthy individual which doesn't have any metabolic disease, no kidney dysfunction, and no liver disease, you should be fine taking creatine. People get their creatinine tested, and they come to me and say, oh, my creatinine is high. Well, you're supplementing from it, it'll obviously be high. All I need to see is a correlation between your blood creatinine levels and your urine creatinine levels. If urine creatinine is high, then we're in trouble. Also, when you're getting your blood test done, make sure you take 2 days of rest from creatine, 2 days rest from the gym.
And then do your blood test.
Exactly. And then it'll be normal. It's happened to me so many times. I'd get my test done and my doctor's like, were you at the gym last night and you got the test done? I'm like, oh yeah. He's like, wait for 3 days and now, because you get to have 3 days off now before you get your test done.
And most people will say, I don't have 3 days off to do that.
Right? And that's the whole point. If your levels are borderline high, you're fine. If they're way higher than that, definitely need to consult a doctor further.
What's one supplement you have seen clients waste their money on and it's actually useless for their genes?
Mass gainers.
Mass gainers. Why is that?
It's just added sugar. आप एक काम कीजिए, आप whey protein लीजिए, उसमें 6 चम्मच चीनी डाल लीजिए, you have a mass gainer.
So the healthier way would be to eat a banana, to add sweet potato to that and eat it, right?
Indeed. My routine when I was trying to gain weight was get 2 sweet potatoes, boil them, put them in a lunchbox, take my whey protein. The moment I come out of the gym, drink the whey protein and have the sweet potato. That's my weight gainer.
Ever had constipation because of higher protein consumption, and what did you do for it?
Drink more water, have more insoluble fiber.
So, for example, insoluble fiber.
Isabgol, salam husk, okay. Or यहाँ पे Metamucil मिलता है. Or what you can do is if you have enough collard greens or even normal greens, there'll be enough fiber for it to push down. And also not stopping the urge to go to the bathroom. These days, the youth, when they're on their phones or when they're walking around, what they're doing, whatever, if they stop their poop from coming when it's coming, it will always lead, the water will be reabsorbed into your intestines or into your body from your intestines, and the bolus will become harder.
Also, your poop becomes harder. And therefore, to take it out later, it's more rock.
Yes. And imagine this, when the water is being absorbed, the cholesterol also gets absorbed. That's how, when you take salam husk, isabgol, then the poop gets moved quickly. The cholesterol also decreases in the human body.
So, Dr. Mandeep, between 40 and 50 now, I realize that workout, build muscle, but my joints hurt. What's the ideal split both for maintaining and developing muscle, but whilst protecting your joints?
For me personally, I work out for 2 days and take a rest on the third day. If I'm ultra sore, I'll take an extra day off, but I never take 3 days off in a row. I maintain hydration if I'm too sore. I eat more carbs if I'm too sore. And my carbs...
You eat more carbs if you're sore because of your DNA test.
Correct.
And earlier you would do more protein.
More protein.
So did you notice the difference between the two?
Yes.
So with more carbs, you're actually less sore.
Yes.
Wow. That's a realization now.
And my carbs are always... For me, I've noticed this. I've eaten rice. I've eaten brown rice, potato, sweet potato. Sweet potato is the best. And it feels light. I don't feel... Even if I eat it for a month, if I had 2 a day adding to my diet, I'd never get fat on it. I don't know how. I don't know if there's a thing inside. I don't know if I have missed a piece of information that I haven't read, but I never get fat on it. However, going back to the split, 2 days, 1 day off, 2 days, 1 day off, I can take 2 days off, but I'll never take 3 days off. If I have to take the third day off, it has to be active rest, either on the bike, either going for a run or playing with the children in the park. So you're moving, you're doing a non-exercise activity thermogenesis.
Neat.
So
I keep telling people that jadu pocha, cleaning, gardening, we will still burn fat and you'll still be mobile and agile at the same time.
Yes.
What is your take on yoga? Because I add some amount of yoga on my days off. So what's your take on that?
I definitely do it for my joint health because as we get older, we lose our balance. We lose the ability to stretch. We lose the ability to take one step away from the other. That's why you see old people, they shuffle because the legs are weak and they cannot split the legs away from each other. And that's how people fall because the balance comes from splitting the legs and being able to balance yourself on that. So yoga आपको वो चीज़ में challenge करती है. So yoga is great for that. To answer your question prior to this, joint health, I take glucosamine, I take hyaluronic acid if I have to, if I feel sore. If I feel too sore, I do not work out the same body part for maybe 4 or 5 days.
My wife, like me, 40 to 50 age group, what should women be doing for both muscle and joint health in that age?
Exactly the same thing.
Exactly the same? Lifting weights and stretching?
The human muscle is a human muscle. It does not know if it's patched on a male or a female. It'll react the exact same way. Your recovery might differ, but the muscle will react in the exact same way. That's why women or men, regardless of the age, need to lift as heavy as they can. When your coach says lift heavy, it doesn't mean 500 pounds. Maybe 50 is heavy for you. What defines heavy is the rep range. You have a desired rep range. आपने 8 से 12 करने हैं. आपने 8 से 12 में जो आपके लिए weight heavy है, वो आप कीजिए. Again, empty your bucket every single time. You shouldn't sit down after the workout saying, I could have done a little bit more actually. No.
With the women, you see a lot of women doing yoga, Pilates, walking, Zumba, right? But there's no weight training which is stimulating the muscle beyond that 80% of a loaded weight to the muscle.
Correct.
And repetitions of that. What's your take as a physiotherapist and a bodybuilder? What would you tell all women out there?
They're doing auxiliary movements. Zumba, yoga, all this is great, but it's not the best. As you get older, you need muscle strength. You need strength to carry your body vertically against gravity. And only stronger muscles can do that. That's why strength training is that important. I have a rule. What I'm going to tell you today, you'll be thinking about in 10 years. If I tell you to work out today and start working out, in 10 years, if you don't work out, you'll say, oh, you know what? Man, you told me to work out, I didn't work out. I feel it now. Or if you start working out, in 10 years, you'll say, I'm glad he told me this. I'm glad I started working out.
Or like some of my clients say to me, you told me to do that, but nothing happened. I said, good, nothing has happened. Continue for another 10 years. Nothing more will happen to you.
Yeah, no news is good news, right? Yeah. So that's the whole rule. And again, यही बोलता हूँ कि आपको जो मैं आज बोल रहा हूँ, आप उसके बारे में आप 10 साल में सोचेंगे. So might as well start acting on it. Everybody's lazy. Everybody's lazy. But don't let it be a thing that changes you.
There was a article the other day on an airport where all the Indian people above 60 were asking for wheelchairs, and all the Chinese people did not take wheelchairs. Talk to us about this when you talk about laziness.
Just because they did not work out throughout the life, जिम क्या जाना है, जिम क्या टाइम वेस्ट कर रहे हो जिम में जाकर, क्या कर रहे हो जिम में, माथा मार रहे हो लोहे के साथ. Those are the people who are sitting in a wheelchair now because they did not work out. They felt they were okay and they felt they will remain okay. The thing is, in words of Al Pacino, as you get old, things get taken away from you.
As you get old, things get taken away from you. That's muscle.
In this case, it's muscle, it's balance, it's your cognition. आप सोचिए, exercise gives you the cognition, it gives you the muscle strength, it gives you the balance. That's why you need exercise. And I know people think effort lag raha hai, bahut tang ho rahe hain. But dude, what else would you do? Sit on your phone and scroll?
Your group of medical experts, the physiotherapists, make some of the best trainers in the world. Should a person above the age of 50 look at an no trainer, look at YouTube videos and try and work out on their own, get an person who calls himself a trainer, look for a certified SNC, or maybe hunt for a physiotherapist who's backing up as a trainer? What's your advice?
The last two.
Why?
In this world, first of all, I want them to be in a routine. जब मेरे पास कोई आता है बोलता है, give me a program, I say, how about this? 30 days, you have to go for a walk and do squats every other day and do push-ups the days that you're not doing squats and come back. I want to see how much self-control they have and how much grit they have they can put in towards this. Once they have the mental grit, I know they're coachable. Once they're coachable, I can coach them. The reason for getting an SNC or a fitness trainer or a physiotherapist as a fitness trainer or a certified fitness trainer is people who know about fitness training. The reason for that is I've seen people walk into the gym, nobody takes their history, nobody takes their fitness assessment. They start working out. The third day, they tear their Achilles because they never worked out. There was no history of exercise, and the guy gave them walking lunges with heavy weights. So if they're not trained, if they don't have the knowledge, and they start training you, they might hurt you. And that'll cost you way more than getting a trainer who is qualified.
So a lot of people never work out the entire life, but then they start joining the gym in the late 40s or early 50s. So get the right medical expert.
Always.
There's another point over here is that a lot of people say, I was an athlete in college. How quickly does the athlete in your muscle disappear?
It goes to sleep. You can wake it up. Muscle memory.
Okay.
Muscle memory will kick in on the third month, second month, first month, depending on how resilient your body is. The older you are, the longer it will take to wake it up. Once it wakes up, you can keep it up by working out. The moment you stop working out, you start going to sleep again.
Speaking of muscle going to sleep, a lot of people start a diet plan. A lot of people start a weight training program. And after 1 month, they said, kuch result nahi mil gaya. So talk to us about how it takes just about close to about 180 days or 6 months just for the muscle first to adapt.
Correct.
And the adaptogenesis to happen. And then by the end of the first year, and I remember when you started the podcast, you said in 15 years, you will build big muscle. So skeletal muscle lasts 14 years in your body. What's the thought and logic in that? Can you explain it to us?
I want to say something in Hindi that my coach to this day from 29 years says. He says, जब मेरे पास लोग आते हैं बोलते हैं ये कैसे जाएगा, वो बोलते हैं जैसे आया था वैसे ही जाएगा.
जैसा आएगा
जैसे आया था वैसे ही जाएगा. So this will only go the way it came. It came with 15 years of uncontrolled eating. You let yourself go. And you're expecting it to go in 1 month? You know? Give yourself at least a year. In the course, we talk about having a macro cycle of a year, having a desirable goal in a year. जब आपने क्लाइंट से पहली असेसमेंट में बात करके बोल दिया कि आपको 1 साल लगेगा जिसमें आपका 10 किलो भार घटेगा, and by the virtue of only decreasing 250 calories per day, if you stick to that plan for a year, you'll see the result of 10 kilos going away. I give you an analogy. Imagine, say a sport that you don't know yet. कोई भी sport जो आप खेल नहीं सकते भी.
Tennis.
Imagine I tell you to get straight aces. How long would it take from you to go from here to getting straight aces? How long?
I think at least 1.5 to 2 years.
even more.
Yeah.
Even getting used to the racket and running around and slipping and sliding in place and giving a backhand, you learn it in 6 months. I don't know why people expect to see a result in 1 month. So they should be telling themselves, I'm learning something new. I'm learning a new language. My body will adapt in 1 month just to understand what this language is. In 6 months, it will be able to speak it normally. In a year, it'll speak it in a way that my body understands and everybody else understands.
I want to put a disclaimer over here. Fat cells reside in your body for 8 years. So whilst you could lose that weight in 1 year, जैसे आया वैसा
Jayega.
okay, वापस आता है because that fat cell sits over there.
Right.
And so you do Mandeep's training and Ryan Fernando's diet and it goes down to its tiniest level. So the fat cell goes down.
Right.
But you decide to go to Maldives or you decide to go to Mumbai and enjoy yourself on the vada pav and the omelets and the roadside food and you eat with abandon, it's going to come back in 3 months back again.
Correct.
So getting healthier rather than fat loss should be the single-minded goal of most of us. But everyone goes for looks. So give yourself time of at least 6 months before you can start seeing any results and get yourself an advanced weighing scale which measures fat percentage. So if you want to lose your love handles, Dr. Mandeep is suggesting that give yourself time. He's also curated a beautiful course on bodybuilding and nutrition together, wherein you can follow his tenets on how you can change your diet and bring in some aspects of a sustained workout over a period of time. This course is now available at institutenutrition.com and it's open to all of you for you to enhance your learnings, know the science, and get cracking. And as we continue this podcast, I've got the link for you and it's down here in the description in this podcast. And when you finish this podcast, don't forget to go down there to institutenutrition.com and click on that link because Dr. Mandeep is going to be in your living room teaching you how to become the best and fittest version of yourself.
जब लोग बोलते हैं कि मेरे यहाँ love handle है, तो मैं क्या करूँ? I say just let somebody hold it and make love to you.
Good one. So Dr. Mandeep, I'm watching a lot of the world political leaders, the millionaires, the billionaires and all. And the latest traffic coming across the internet is about testosterone replacement therapy. I constantly do my blood test and I check for my free testosterone and total testosterone. It is dropping as compared to when I was 40. So what's your take on this TRT therapy?
I always say get blood test done. I get mine done on my birthday and on Christmas every single year. मुझे ये मालूम है जब तक मेरे पास morning wood है, I'm doing okay. जब तक मेरे पास mental clarity है, I'm doing okay. If you start getting ED, or you start getting brain fog, or you start getting your recovery is suffering, there might be a chance your estradiol is high or your testosterone is low. There are ways to change that with supplements, but the world is going towards TRT. The reason I'm holding back right now is because the moment I put synthetic testosterone in my body,
Natural goes down?
natural will go down, negative feedback loop. I don't want that.
So I think the easier thing is to do it naturally because it's possible. In fact, I remember my estradiol levels being high and testosterone were quite normal at 600, but my estradiol was through the roof. And this was just about around the time of my child's birth. And they say that fathers have higher estrogen levels around when the babies are born. So I was testing it and I found that. And estradiol can actually be suppressed with a supplement called DIM.
Right.
Diindole methyl.
Right.
And it's found in Brussels sprouts, asparagus, and broccoli.
Right.
So I started eating those foods and it went down moderately. I bought a supplement, took it for 2 months, and estradiol came down and I could feel the testosterone beginning to work back again. The second point is, after that, I've maintained those foods in my diet to keep my estradiol levels low. And like you, I test twice a year.
Right.
Free testosterone, total testosterone, estradiol. I also check my zinc levels.
Right.
Because if your zinc levels are too high, it also suppresses testosterone.
Correct.
And if your zinc levels are too low,
it suppresses testosterone. You want to be in that sweet spot in the middle. So people also don't realize is they sometimes oversupplement.
Right.
And Terrestris Tribilis has always been one of my favorites. So I advise people to not take it year long, but to actually think that, oh, you're living near an oasis, which is which part of the year are you going to have the best workouts of your life?
Right.
So a lot of my clients say it's March to June because the children don't have school that time. I've got a little bit more time to myself. So March to June, do a Terrestris Tribilis cycle, do an Ashwagandha cycle during the monsoon period to boost your immune system, and then you do honey goatweed or tonga tali in the winter season, and just figure this out. But again, these are stuff that we do under medical advice of the dietitian, the nutritionist, or the doctor. So the podcast is to enlighten you that testosterone replacement therapy should be a last resort.
Correct.
It's an instant fix, but it gives you a crutch for life.
That is correct. That's a very good way to put it actually. आप ये सोचिए कि आपने एक बार शुरू कर दिया तो आपका बॉडी बंद हो जाएगा. It's an easy fix, like I was saying, Ryan. आप बताइए, if you came up with a magic pill that would make everybody fit, oh, it's called Ozempic, I'm saying. I'm just kidding. If you came up with a magic pill that would make everybody fit, and then you were going to give them advice to eat asparagus and broccoli, what do you think if you had both, what would they take?
They would take the shortcut. Everyone wants a shortcut in life.
And TRT is a shortcut. And that's why people are talking about it, doing it. It's convenient.
You see, what happens is the narrative that is being pushed in social media today on the World Wide Web is definitely fueled by the pharmaceutical industry.
Correct.
People like you and me create podcasts like this to create an awareness that food, nutrition molecules which are found in nature, herbs that are found in nature, nutrition molecules that are found in the human body are things that will be your first line of best defense.
Correct.
Towards aging naturally and having the least amount of side effects. Yeah, you're talking about Mounjaro, Ozempic. As a nutritionist, I want to take a viewpoint where probiotics, L-carnitine, berberine, inulin, even simple things like cinnamon.
Yeah, I was going to say cinnamon, yes.
Have an ability to burn fat and thereby improve your testosterone, because fat is something which produces your estrogen and blunts your testosterone.
Correct.
So I think people eating wrong, foods laden with pesticides and hormones, and finding those blood tests that can tell you, do you have a back foot from a genetic point of view where your nutrition molecules are not being produced very well. Example, vitamin D.
Right.
I always tell people vitamin D is the BAP of testosterone.
Correct.
It's the molecule on which testosterone is built. So if you have low vitamin D, there's no point taking anything. First do your blood test before you even go for a TRT replacement therapy.
Correct.
Boost your vitamin D for a few months. Boost your vitamins, boost your protein, reduce your body fat by walking, and watch your testosterone cooperate with you.
Correct. Did you know if you gain 1 kilogram of fat, if you're a man, you're going to lose half an inch of your penis because it goes around your pubic region. So if you lose fat, you'll have a bigger dick.
And that's so true, right? You know, I saw this poster once where this guy was taking a pee and he couldn't see down there because he had abdominal obesity. And I think that's plaguing India right now, that we have people where 30 to 40 BMI is getting normal.
Correct.
And so I sometimes think to myself that they aren't talking in public about bedroom performance.
Correct.
But when they definitely come into the Qua Nutrition Clinic and sit in front of the desk, many a times our clients go away and then they'll privately message me saying that, is there anything you can give us for bedroom performance to last longer?
Correct.
And I remember there was once this group of dietitians, I was training them, and they was like, so what can we do to improve the endurance of clients in bedroom performance? And I was like, make your client lose weight. They was like, sir, no, they want endurance. I was like, okay, picture this. 60 kg man running a marathon. 150 kg man running a marathon.
Correct.
Who will feel more tired after 3 kilometers? So they answered. So I said, how will you get endurance? You make the 150 kg guy come down to 90 kgs.
Correct.
And therefore, he is not moving that much amount of mass. In your case, the mass is also hindering. So performance.
Correct.
Therefore, that's how you get the size enhancement.
Yes.
I think nobody talks about this. People want to be politically correct about and tiptoe around people who are heavyweight. But even the Prime Minister of India has talked about motapa.
Right.
He's asked people to reduce the oil consumption by 10%.
Right.
I believe that's a simple fact that normal people could understand. Because when I tell you, you have to lose weight, your BMI has to come down to under 24, people don't get it. When I tell them stop eating sweets, they don't get it. When I say don't take so much of oil, they don't get it. We've got to give people small, actionable goals.
Correct. I agree with that. And also, people let go after a certain time. For example, sir, मेरी शादी होनी है, मेरे को weight lose कराओ 2 महीने में. I'm sure you get these kind of clients, right? Once they have shadi and that's done, then they go away and they're like, अब तो शादी हो गई, अब क्या करना है? What do you mean, अब क्या करना है? You are maintaining your health. Why were you getting fit in the first place? Just to look good for your wife or your husband? Now that's done, it's for you. You should maintain that. You got married to a certain person to look a certain way. Now that's done. Let's shift the goal a little bit and make it for you. Why not?
Testosterone, we've talked a lot about it. It's often seen as a male hormone. What about for females?
Like I said earlier, men have breast tissue like females. It's not big. It's rudimentary. Females have testosterone really low, but like men, they also have testosterone. Testosterone is in the female body is what builds the muscle in the female body. When you start working out, you can get a little more testosterone for females, giving them more mental clarity and more strength. They will even see more androgen receptors being formed on the cells, on the muscle tissue for the testosterone to be received. So after 3 years of foundation training, you see it becomes easier for females to gain muscle. They obviously won't go beyond their genetic limit. They can become better as they age. So if they start working out at 30, perfectly fine. 40, that's okay. Give yourself 4 or 5 years to develop those androgen receptors on the muscle so the little testosterone that you have is the key for the protein synthesis that you need. They can even bump it up with the same supplements that we talked about earlier. But I always tell people when they're supplementing, have a journal. Use it for a month and see how you actually feel. Because if the hormones go off, you actually might feel worse than you were feeling before.
So I think journaling is a really good thing. And we do that on our WhatsApp food diary. We just ask people to note down how is their poop, how's their blood pressure that day, how's their resting heart rate that day, how's their mood that day,
Correct.
How's their energy level that day. And people have actually come back to me and says, I followed your advice from a video, and by just noting it down for 30 days, I know how to correlate it to my menstruation cycle. And I think the women who are going through perimenopause and menopause, I think having a counselor really helps women emotionally peg a benchmark, one, to mental clarity, two, physical health.
Right.
Because a lot of times they don't realize that working out can enhance mental focus, mental good well-being and stuff like that. In fact, the other day I saw an article which said that the biggest microbiome positive stimuli is exercise.
Right. So when Ponce de Leon said, I'm looking for the fountain of youth, he did not know about exercise. I'm going to tell you, exercise is the fountain of youth. That's one way to maintain your youth. Imagine exercise helping with perimenopause. Imagine exercise helping with cognition. Imagine exercise helping with movement, balance, and the feeling of well-being, dopamine, serotonin. So this is the fountain of youth.
So what Dr. Mandeep has just talked about is the science behind it. The fountain of youth is your muscle. It's the only age-reversible organ. I'll give you a story at the Quan Nutrition Clinics. A billionaire client came to me. His body age on our weighing scale was 54. His birth certificate age was 44. Wow. He started doing a crystal clear Olympic level nutrition plan for 6 months. He started weight training with a superior physiotherapy trainer. And he started doing walking, which I advised him of 1.5 hours every day, 45 minutes in the morning, 45 minutes in the evening, and weight training 3 times a week, heavy, with the physiotherapist. And on the other days, he was just doing stretching with the same trainer. He lost about 12 kgs of body fat in 6 months, an Amir Khan style.
Wow.
And his body age dropped by a whopping 14 years. His statement to me was, Ryan, Fernando, you have no idea how much money I make in a year, but you just gave me a 14x return on my earnings. So exercise is one of your best fund managers because it doesn't give you a direct return, but it gives you a whopping indirect return.
Correct. That's amazing, actually.
So you talked about journaling. You have a lot of energy, and I know that you're writing a book, but a father, bodybuilder, a professor in filmmaking at the university, and now you're writing a book. Where do you get all the energy, and what are you writing about?
The energy comes from knowing that this life is transient and it's going to end any day. So I might as well live. The energy comes from my family, from my children, from my wife. When I see their face, when I see them smile, it makes me wake up in the morning and gets me to work. I'm writing about my life, my journey as a bodybuilder, and how that has led to everything else in my life. There's a funny thing that happens. No matter if I'm teaching, no matter if I'm talking to someone, no matter if I'm in a restaurant eating, muscles connect people. You see a kid crying, you flex your muscle, and he just suddenly goes like this, and he looks at you, and then he looks at his father or mother, and he looks back at you, and then you smile, and the kid smiles at you. I've seen people start talking to me just because I flexed a muscle, and they will come up and say, how long have you been working out? So I've seen it builds a bridge. So my working out is the way that has led me into everything I've done. And doing all the things that I do is because of working out, because I have enough energy. I put myself through enough so my body has gotten used to the kind of work that I do. If I wasn't working out, I would be lazier. I would most probably be sitting on a couch, eating chips, having a drink, and playing video games.
So if we want to reach out to you, where can we find you?
I am on Instagram, on Facebook as Jacked Filmmaker. JACKED Film FILMMAKER put together as one word.
So what we will do is we'll put the link down in, and for all of you wondering where this filmmaker, physiotherapist, and bodybuilder is going to be, he's going to be down below in the description at institutenutrition.com on his very own bodybuilding nutrition course. If I was you, I would get clicking, I would subscribe to his course, and a few lucky ones of you will have a chance to have a private audience with him at the end of the course. So what are you waiting for? Get cracking, get learning, watch this podcast. And if you've liked today's podcast, then tell us what you liked about it. If you didn't like anything about the podcast, share it with us. We will try and improve the information that we bring to you. But if you've watched this far, then you truly are a fan, and I love you a lot. You may share it, you may like it, you can subscribe to whatever it that we do. But I will share one thing privately with you and Dr. Mandeep. We do this work because it's our responsibility and why we're put on the planet. We do not do this work because we want a subscribe or share. That is your decision. Thank you so much for watching.
That was an incredible conversation with Dr. Mandeep. His journey from overcoming personal challenges to becoming a bodybuilder and a physiotherapist is truly inspiring. We've learned so much about the power of consistency, mental resilience, and the real value of lifting weights. A huge thank you to Dr. Mandeep for sharing his story today. Now, if you're looking to take your fitness to the next level, you can find his bodybuilding nutrition course at institutenutrition.com, and you'll also find the link in the description below. Thanks for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Keep pushing your limits, and I'll catch you in the next one.